Being recorded.
So I have to admit something. I've been waiting for the last 2 days to give this sermon. And you know what I'm going to talk about. Yeah. Okay? What happened in Minnesota is atrocious. And who do I blame? Very simple. I blame everybody. Proverbs, King Solomon, what did he say? He said, who is mighty? Eze hu gibor. Who is mighty? One who contains their passions. Something this country has not been doing at all. And that's why, in my opinion, take it or leave it, is what happened. It's absurd. Where are the adults in the room? Where are people calling for calm? Why do we come to services? Why do we have religion? Why do we have God tell us in the Torah? I've counted 8 times. You know how many times in the Torah it says don't murder? Twice. I've said this before. Twice. 2 times. The 10 Commandments, which is coming up in a couple of weeks. That thing that we read earlier, oh Lord, guard my tongue from weakness and my strength and my lips from speaking guile. Gossip. How many times does it tell you not to gossip? I've counted 8. And that's just in the Torah. You go through the Talmud, you go through the prophets, and you find it being talked about a lot. It is so important to the rabbis that on Tisha B'Av, the most solemn day of the year, when we mourn the loss of the 2 temples, when we mourn the expulsion of Jews in England, where we mourn the beginning of the Holocaust by the beginning of World War I, there is this portion in the tractate Sotah that's read about 2 rabbis in the Talmudic time, about 2,000 years ago, that were at odds with each other. And one of them accidentally got invited to a party that the other one was giving. And I said accidentally because when the guy showed up, the other rabbi was absolutely furious. The rabbi said, look, I understand this is, I guess you really didn't want me here, but, rather than cause a scene, let me stay here and I'll pay for my meal. The other rabbi said, no. He said, I'll tell you what, I'll do better. I'll pay the whole party. I'll pay for the whole party that you're throwing. Rabbi said no and kicked him out. That rabbi then went to the Romans and helped him overthrow that other rabbi, and that was the beginning of the end of the Second Temple. That's how important speech is. And that is all we've gotten from everybody in the country, everybody. We've had it from our leaders. We've had it from podcasters. And it's incitement. It's hate speech, because this is what happens in Minnesota. And I'm not going to defend anybody what they did, but I'm going to castigate and demean everybody that had a hand in it. Everybody that said anything about it. Because it's everybody's responsibility. E pluribus unum. Out of the many is one. We are one people. And yet we can't get together. You've heard the word tribe or tribalism to refer to the different points of view in our country. Depending on what side of the aisle or what side you're on, okay? That doesn't do it for me. It goes beyond tribalism. People talk about civil war like they're laughing about it, but that's a real possibility because that's what we're having here, a civil war. Why? Because people can't talk to each other. You want to hear my son and I go at it, Moshe and I? We had a big, I don't want to say discussion, I don't want to say argument, I don't want to say debate. I mean, we're practically yelling at each other this morning. And then when it was over, we just laughed. And we would have had a beer, but it was only 10 o'clock in the morning. But we can do that. He and I can do that. I can do that with people. As a rabbi, I don't espouse any opinion about the world, about politics, except that people shouldn't be oppressed and demeaned. That's my opinion. I don't care whatever. I don't really personally, I don't care professionally or personally what else happens. You have a belief, great. Are you right? Yeah. Are you wrong? Yeah. But you're entitled to your opinion, and that's okay. But to take it out in this way, it's disgusting. And who's sitting there? Where's the adult in the room? I don't see anybody. I mean, it's like recess at third grade. Two kids fighting, and everybody cheering them on. And you need a teacher, an adult, to come and break it up and say, cut it out. It's not what we're here for. Why does a teacher try to do that? Why do they try to break up a fist fight? To show these kids that if you have a disagreement, you don't have to come to blows. It's that simple. Look at bullying in schools. Why does bullying still exist? Because nobody has suppressed it. Nobody has addressed it. Now you may say, well, there's been attempts, but do we still have bullying going on? Yeah, we do. Obviously, nobody's done what needs to be done, which is no bullying. If you touch somebody, you're out of here. That's it. We don't want you here. Go home. Done. And don't come back until you can vow that you're not going to hit somebody again. You have a disagreement, we'll figure out another way to deal with it. They don't do that. It's that simple. It's that simple. We have people in this country who are frustrated and who are angry, and for good cause. There's a lot of nonsense going on in the world. Nonsense is not the word I want to use, but I'm being recorded. I'm a rabbi, so that's the word I'm going to use. Right? We have a lot of nonsense going on in the world right now. And how do we deal with it? Okay, people inflame people. Okay, people are frustrated. They don't know what to do with their frustration. Now, in my mind, and I'm going to get political here, if you're a leader, you have to rise above. That's just the way it is. I sit down in board meetings, and this is what my board tells me. Rabbi, you can't say that. You have to rise above. And they're right. Sometimes I lose it. I'm human. What can I tell you? That's why when I lose it, I just go into the temple. I offer a goat. Everybody eats, and we're done, right? That's it. Achatat, right? I made an unintentional sin. I transgressed. All right, let's say our sorry. Let's do an offering, and we're good to go. Okay? But people don't know what to do with their frustration. And there are people that are taking advantage of it. There are people in power. And when I say in power, I don't mean political leaders. I'm talking about people who get on the internet and claim to speak for people. Well, don't even claim it, just do it. And people have no other outlet for their frustrations. So they lock into that, they get inflamed. It's mob rule, is what it is. It's mob rule. Nobody's offering the solutions. Anybody ever see the movie Fun with Dick and Jane? And I mean, okay, this is the one in 1978 with George Segal and Jane Fonda. Anybody see that movie? Okay, so George Segal is an aerospace executive. He's like an executive VP. And he's laid off from the job. He doesn't know what to do. And, for a living, he's trying different things. And his wife, Jane Fonda, happens to get a hold of ill-gotten gains, like $1,000, and they go home, and she's feeling really bad about it. And she goes, I can't believe what I've done. And George Segal looks at her and goes, yeah, what a good job you did doing it. So they decide to go out and rob banks. That's part of the movie, right? At one point, they don't just rob banks. They walk into the electric company, and they hold up the electric company. And everybody's sitting there cheering and laughing and clapping and go, yeah, about time. That has come, that attitude, and this was 1978, thanks to our access to social media, that has got spread like wildfire. Right? It's gone out of control. Okay? So this is Shabbat. How do we go to peace from all this? Okay, because that's really where we should be thinking. How do we go to peace? Okay, we have to take the bull by the horns. And I really mean it's a bull. It is charging, it's got horns, and you will get speared. You have to take the bull by the horns. You have to be the one to calm down. Each one of us has to take responsibility for being the voice of reason, since no one else is doing it. So we have to commit on Shabbat, right, to being the voice of reason. Shabbat, what a great concept. Shabbat Shalom, Sabbath peace. Wouldn't it be great? Wouldn't it be great if we had a truce from Friday night to Saturday night? Truce, okay? Shabbat, right? turn off your cell phones, right? You spend time with your family. How about if we commit to 1 day a week where we don't go off the rails? Just 1 day, okay? The other 6 days, okay, we'd rather you didn't. Definitely watch your behavior. We're not going to condone anything violent or aggressive, but let's at least take that 1 day and just no politics, no frustration, no demeaning people, okay? Let's, for 1 day, let's guard our tongue from evil and let's guard our lips from guile, and guard our hearts from hatred, just for the 1 day for 24 hours. Anybody here from New York? You're from New York? Were you in New York in the late 70s? Late 70s. Okay. Bless you. Okay. So in the middle 70s, there was a guy on WNBC radio at night. His name was Dick Summers. And he had this program that he did, Love and Touch. And it was
Just terrible.
and he wrote Proverbs. And he wrote Proverbs. And in that Proverbs, he said, control yourselves. Control yourselves. The rabbis have talked about anger. Anger. And they said it's horrible because when you're angry, you will make mistakes. If you need any proof of that, look at Moses, the greatest prophet we ever had. He talked to God the way you and I talk. And what did he do? God said, talk to the rock. Moses let his anger get out of control, and bam. No promised land for you. Enough's enough. That wasn't the only thing, but that was the straw. That was the final straw. That's what anger will do for you, to you. It will destroy your life. So take a time out, count to 10. Let's also remember what our fathers, Pirkei Avot, said. And if you're Native American, they said it too. Don't judge a person until you've walked from their place. Ray Stevens, if I could be you for just an hour, what's that song? Right? Walk a mile in my shoes. Remember that song from the 70s? No. I'm aging myself. I'm dating myself. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes, right? We have to think about that. You get angry, count to 5. And if it doesn't work, count to 10. But let's practice being silly. Let's practice peace. Right? That's what we got to do. And it has to start somewhere. Let it start with us. Thank you.